This is my 8.2 health consultations, client one. So I asked my client some questions based on his physical activity levels and other things like that. And then I'll perform some fitness tests to see how he was progressing, how he starts physically. Um, so firstly, I did the body mass index check, which where I put his weight and height into a online calculator, or as shown in the diagram on the right, his height alongside his weight, and it gives a measurement of where he stands. So on the calculator, it came out as 24.2, which suggests he is a healthy weight, but he is quite close to the overweight category. So maybe just keeping an eye on that would be good for an improvement. Then I also did a lung function check, which is using the peak flow test, where you blow into a machine thing, um, and it gives you a recording. I did it 3 times and took his best result, which was 600. And as you can see on the diagram, for a 186 centimeter male, it should be the purple-ish line where I've sort of circled it. So he's a bit above average for that, alongside normative values, that is. And then I did a heart rate test, um, and this came out as 72 beats per minute, which was average, which is a suggestion that he's drinking enough water, and he's reasonably healthy. So that was positive. And then I did a waist to hip measurement with him. However, this came out as 0.78, which was slightly below average for a male in the age group of 15 to 24. So maybe for next time we could look into getting closer to the normative values. And then finally, I did a blood pressure check, and my client came up with a systolic measurement of around 118, and then a diastolic measurement of 76, which is very close to the recommended amount of 120 systolic and 80 diastolic. So these are very good measurements for him. So for the fitness tests, I'm evaluating firstly the waist to hip measurement. It wasn't the area for improvement really is to get closer towards the average, as he was a bit underneath this. So yeah, that we just need to improve that for the next time. And then for the heart rate test, my client got an average score of 72 beats per minute, which was very in the average. And obviously this can be improved, but usually anything better than that is like a higher standard, like for an athlete or something like that. Then for the blood pressure check, my client scored 114 systolic and 674 diastolic, which is very close to the average. So that was very positive. And the only really area for improvement is getting that closer to the much closer to the average, which isn't really that necessary. Um, and then the body mass index check was also good. However, it was quite close to the overweight category. So I will talk to my client and make sure that he doesn't get any closer to that measurement, as it could go over into the overweight category, for a person his height and weight. Then for my peak flow test, he had a final score of 600 after 3 attempts. This may have, the first 2 attempts were weaker. I think there were 250 and 320. So maybe he was just getting used to the equipment. But his final score, which was 600, was as I showed, above the average, which was good. Um, and then when I questioned in my consultation, I asked him about his goals, physical activity levels, nutrition, lifestyle, physical health, and his medical history. So for his goals, I asked him what his reasons were for physical activity. So he said it was for enjoyment and also for to clear his head. Um, however, he had quite unrealistic weight loss goals. He wanted to lose quite a lot of weight in a short period of time, which is quite unrealistic. So trying to improve that would be good. For physical activity, he does quite a lot of physical activity. He plays rugby twice a week at least, and then also goes to the gym. However, he has quite a limited variety. As he only does similar stuff at the gym every week, and only plays rugby. So I suggested going on runs, um, and maybe trying another sport to use other aspects of his body rather than just ones that he uses for rugby. For nutrition, he's very good. He had four. He usually has 4 hours, um, five a day. Um, but he does consume quite a lot of calories over the average, which may not be good for him. And in the lifestyle section, he doesn't smoke, which is positive, because smoking makes you unhealthy, blocks your lungs. It's not very good for you. Um, and he takes the bus to, sorry, I should say college, um, rather than walking. So if because he lives within walking distance, but he chooses to take the bus. Um, so I suggested for him to walk, just to keep him on the move, keep him healthy, rather than taking the bus every day. For his physical health, he has no movements which are painful for him, which is a good thing. However, he got an injury in rugby recently, and hasn't been having physiotherapy for this injury, so I recommend for him to have physiotherapy. Lastly, I asked him about his medical history. He said to me he didn't think his family had any diseases or any cardio problems or stuff like that, but he wasn't sure. So I just recommended that he could go and find out for me, just in case he may have some similar condition in the future, just to make sure that just to keep him aware. So finally, my three main improvements that I recommended to my client is for him to have a wider range of physical activity rather than just playing rugby. So maybe getting a gym membership and doing another sport like running and maybe something that uses other muscle groups in his body rather than ones he uses for rugby. Then I would recommend that he improves his weight loss goals. Um, as he said, he wants to lose 20 kilograms in 3 months, as it's quite unrealistic. Um, so I'd maybe recommend for him to look at losing 10 kilograms instead in 3 months. As maybe 20 kilograms will be working too hard and not focusing on college work and stuff like that. So, yeah, which is quite important for him. And then finally, I recommended for him to walk to college rather than driving to improve his overall well-being, and also not always relying on the bus, um, and maybe his parents for a lift, make him more independent. That's all. Thank you.